Seabreeze in Irondequoit, New York is a small family-owned park between Lake Ontario and Irondequoit Bay. They are very overdue for a new coaster. Their last roller coaster was the Mauer SC2000 spinning coaster Whirlwind in 2003, which was 23 years ago. But their last custom ground-up roller coaster was the wooden version of bobsleds in 1954, or Junior Coaster as it was called when it opened. To put this in perspective, it has been 72 years since Seabreeze got their last ground-up custom roller coaster. Most parks weren't even around back then. So a few days ago, or more like a week ago by now, I put out a video showing a concept for a Gerstlauer airtime coaster at Seabreeze, but the reactions were mixed. So I thought that I would make another video to explain my reasoning why I think this is very possible. Let's start with a little bit of information about Seabreeze, because it seems like a lot of people don't really know much about this park besides Jackrabbit. This park has 4 roller coasters. I won't get too much into detail because I will have a full review of this park out very soon, but these 4 roller coasters are bobsleds, bear tracks, Whirlwind, and like I said, Jackrabbit. I would say that they get pretty consistent investments for how small the park is. They get a new ride about every 3 to 4 years. For example, in 2024 they added Windstars, and now they are adding Reef Runners in 2026, which is a racing water slide and probably their biggest investment in over 10 years. Something I do notice is that the investments seem to be bigger and more consistent in the last few years, which could definitely be a very good sign for the future. Last fall, Rochester Gas and Electric, or RG&E, announced that they would be doing a $17.6 million expansion to Substation 51, which served the Seabreeze area and the park itself. They're doing this to improve reliability and meet increases in demand for energy. And just for reference, there are not any new houses being built in this area, so when it talks about increasing demands, it's most likely talking about Seabreeze. They will begin construction in July, or already started last fall. It's kinda confusing. But I do remember in April seeing a lot of construction going on already, so it seems like it's already underway. The expected completion date is late 2026. I don't know a whole lot about electricity, but I do know that launch coasters specifically require a lot of electricity, especially when compared to roller coasters with lift hills. Even though most launch coasters use on-site generators, it still helps out with the rest of the park and also makes adding a new flat ride or a lift hill roller coaster easier. It probably also helps the all-new Reef Runners too. And a Gerstlauer airtime coaster only uses around 1.35 megawatts of power instead of some launch coasters which can exceed 5 megawatts. But for more evidence, let's talk about a nearby park with many similarities. I'm talking about Waldameer. The park is a very similar size and has a similar ride collection. They also have a near identical website. I could go on all day about the similarities between those parks, but that's for a different video. The point is that in 2027, Waldameer is getting a brand new roller coaster from Vekoma, and it doesn't seem to be some small junior coaster either. It's speculated to be a mid-size launch coaster, similar to something like Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood or Lightning at Faruva. This is no small investment, especially for a park this small, and it's not their only investment either. They've been getting pretty consistent investment with a new ride almost every year. In 2025, they got a Zamperla Nebulas, and this year they're getting Presque Isle Plunge, which is a huge water slide investment. It is very crazy that this park is this size and gets this much investment in back-to-back years. And while Seabreeze does get consistent investment, it's not as often as Waldameer. It gets even weirder when you consider that they both are visited by about 300,000 people per year and have very similar season pass and ticket prices. I don't know if Waldameer is counting people who pay per ride for attendance, but I feel like if Waldameer can get a new ride almost every year and now a large-scale family coaster, then I think that Seabreeze can get a family coaster too, especially because they don't add rides quite as often. Waldameer's estimated annual revenue is about $20 million, and Seabreeze's is about $8 million. This doesn't really make sense considering the fact that they have a similar attendance, ticket and pass prices, food prices, and most likely a similar cost of operation. If anything, Waldameer probably has a higher cost of operation since they have more rides there. But even if that is true, I think it still proves that it's very possible for Seabreeze to get this Gerstlauer Airtime coaster. Let's look at how much exactly this coaster would cost. For reference, Reef Runners has an estimated cost of $2.7 million, which is definitely a good size investment. So I'm sure that they would have to wait a few years before building a new coaster. Megalodon is the only existing Gerstlauer Airtime coaster so far, and it was estimated to cost about $10 million, which sounds like a lot compared to Seabreeze's past investments, but it's probably cheaper than the Vekoma that Waldameer is getting. Something that could lower the cost is going with an American manufacturer, because the park did say that the tariffs heavily increased the cost of Reef Runners to be possibly more than $2.7 million. And going with a manufacturer like RMC or SNS would eliminate any extra costs from the tariff. But now let's talk about the coaster concept itself. It would have 3 launches and be located on the side of the hill next to the side lot. And it would also take up some of the grassy area that's used as an overflow lot. The station would take up a little bit of the picnic area, but it wouldn't actually cause the removal of any of the pavilions. It has many airtime moments, including one during the 3rd launch. One problem that I ran into is you can't really get that close to the coaster when you're actually inside the park, but the park already has Jackrabbit, which most of its layout is only able to be seen from another overflow parking. I think that this would be a very good fit at Seabreeze if it were to happen. I think the likely year would be 2029 because it will be the park's 150th anniversary. And as of when the script is being written, there is less than 1 day until Waldameer announces their new for 2027 roller coaster. And depending on just how big it is, we can kinda use it to guess what kind of roller coaster investment Seabreeze is capable of. So if you also have any other ideas for Seabreeze, then definitely put them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Crack it.